All right, hello and welcome everyone. Today is the 7th of June, and you're watching Esports and Information. My name is Harsh. Uh, let's go through some of the headlines of the leading media houses and the leading newspapers across the world, and let's see what do they have in store for us. A word of caution for all of you. This information is already out in the public domain. I do not have intellectual rights over all of this. I'm simply just reacting. And let's see. Okay, we start off with the state of Odisha. Odisha has witnessed a marginal increase in the population of elephants during the last 7 years. So recently, there was this census about elephants in the coastal state of Odisha. And yeah, the number of elephants in that state has seen a marginal increase, meaning it has somewhere close to 2100 elephants now. Earlier, it was somewhere close to 1900. Now it's crossed the 2000 mark. Um, so, whenever you conserve wildlife, it's very important to understand that you have uh, a close nexus with the wildlife because essentially you cannot survive without the wildlife. So imagine this: if at all in the future, if at all anytime in the future you were asked to live on this earth without no animals present, that would be a very grim future. So yes, we do need elephants. Next one is Election Commission of India, the national body that conducts elections, Lok Sabha elections, and they have put out a press note, and it says overall 65.79% voter turnout recorded in general elections 24. So across the territory of Bharat, uh, 65.79 to somewhere close to 66% voter turnout. So out of all the eligible voters in the 2024 general election, only 65%, somewhere close to 66% have voted in this general election. All right. So if you sit down and actually rationalize and contemplate on this data, you will find out that if somewhere close to 66% of the people are voting, and so the people who have been trusted with the role of dispensation, what is the vote share do they have? Okay. So food for thought. Next is inside the new parliament complex. Now the government has decided to come up with a place called Prerna Sthal. So it is going to be a place where all the statues of great leaders and freedom fighters will be installed. Now this comes at a time when the entire country is somewhat divided on the definition of freedom fighters. There are people in the southern states who consider Tipu Sultan as a freedom fighter, whereas in reality, he was just a tyrant who wanted to rule with an iron fist. And yeah, and there is also considerable debate about Mohandas Gandhi, whether he was actually a freedom fighter or whether he was a politician. According to me, he was simply an opportunistic politician. Yeah, regardless of that, in the new Parliament House, they are coming up with a corner named Prerna Sthal, where there will be statues of great leaders and freedom fighters. We are still to agree upon the definition of great leaders and freedom fighters. So let's see you know, what kind of statues they come up with in that particular corner. This was very shameful for the country of Pakistan. They have been defeated by United States in the currently ongoing T20 World Cup in super over, no less. So at least they were able to take the match to a nail biting super over, but in the end, they were defeated by 5 runs. Tough luck for Pakistan. All right. So this is from the website of the News on Air from the national government. So, the Netherlands initiates 4-day European Union elections across 27 nations. So, European Union is also undergoing elections. It feels like it is the election season all across the world. We have recently concluded our elections, and now it is European Union that is undergoing elections. So, keep in mind, all across the European nations, total 27 countries will undergo elections, and it has started from Netherlands. All right, it has started from Netherlands, and the total number of voters across Netherlands is just 400 million. So, 400 million voters will be voting in the upcoming week. It has already started from Netherlands. Ireland will be voting today, that is Friday. So let's see. I would say the political canvas of Europe is somewhat now leaning more towards the right wing, because many of the European countries, they have come to the realization that uncontrolled immigration has ruined their society, and people are moving towards the right wing politics. They want to get rid of unruly migrants that come into their country with an ungrateful attitude towards the land. And let's see who comes out in the top, because you never can understand what actually is going on in a European's mind. So yeah, so the major issues ranging parliament, they have an impact on issues ranging from global climate politics and defense to migrations and geopolitical relations with China and United States. Now, some of the countries, they are extremely friendly towards China because of large industrial complex that China has. So some European countries, they can get cheap imports from China, whereas other countries sticking to the NATO policy of adopting a hardline stance towards Russia, and by that extension towards China as well. So let's see. This election in the European Union will inform us about the nature of the future politics that European nations would undertake. Next up is a biopharmaceutical alliance. Okay, there was very recently there was this meeting held in San Diego, California. At the name of that meeting was Bio International Convention 2024. It is world's largest biopharmaceutical exhibition. Okay, if you look at the Asian subcontinent, it is us, that is Bharat, that has a robust manufacturing base for pharmaceuticals. Now, I understand that there are some of the active ingredients that we import from China for pharmaceutical manufacturing, but largely, yes, we have a robust infrastructure and a logistic structure in place for pharmaceutical manufacturing. So, countries such as us, United States, Japan, South Korea, and European Union, they have come together. Okay, they have come together to coordinate the respective countries' biopolicies, regulation, research, and development support measures. Now, this comes in the backdrop of the COVID-19 pandemic, where each individual country realized their own shortcomings when it comes to medicine manufacturing. And a lot of countries have definitely realized that something as trivial as medicines can be used as a political measure to strong arm you into doing some things. So let me take you back a little bit to the COVID times when I would say China was actually helping other countries to cope up with the disasters of the COVID-19 pandemic, but in return, uh, it was expecting something, to not adopt a hardline stance towards China and not blame China for the pandemic. So these days, I mean, being self-sufficient in things such as medicine, defense, telecommunications, and technology, all these things count, because the moment you are dependent on some foreign country for these services, they will use that as a leverage, as a bargaining chip, and strong arm you into tiptoeing its line. So yeah. It has done that. So these four countries will come together and deliberate and take actions about how they can improve pharmaceutical manufacturing in all the countries. Now, keep in mind, all these countries are democratic countries, democratic societies. All right. The national toy industry makes strong push into UAE market. Okay. This is something that is very interesting. Toys from our country are very famous in UAE, United Arab Emirates. Yes, yeah. The Gulf people are fond of our toys. Okay. Now there is one statistic that is mentioned over here is we have reduced our imports by 50%. However, the exports have risen by 240% in the last 3 years. Okay. So what change is being observed is the quality of packaging and testing and everything is at par with Western countries such as USA, Canada, Europe, and Dubai and Saudi Arabia. So there are some advantages. There are some advantages that are mentioned over here of importing toys from Bharat. Is that one of them is short time. You can import these toys directly from our country, and it will reach you within 4 to 5 days, because the naval logistic structure in this part of the water body, if you see the Gulf countries in the Persian Gulf and all the water bodies in that part, it's pretty solid. We have a robust logistic structure in those water bodies. So yeah, negligible ocean freight costs compared to imports from China, an ability for buyers to visit factories within a day's travel. All right, all right. So it's very close and connected. I would say I would really encourage our leaders at the center to build up such infrastructure in the Southeast Asian region as well, and because that is where the interconnectedness of the Asian subcontinent would come in, because that region still has a lot of potential. If you see logistically, countries such as Indonesia, Thailand, and all those countries where manufacturing is relatively cheap, they aren't exactly logistically very well connected with Bharat, and we should definitely tap into that potential that we have, and let's see what comes up. So yeah, toys from Bharat are very much popular in Abu Dhabi and United Arab Emirates. Some good news for people who are not enjoying summer. The southwest monsoon further advances into parts of Karnataka, Maharashtra, Telangana, and coastal Andhra Pradesh. So, the National Meteorological Department, the department that handles the predictions regarding the seasons in our country, it has come up with a press release that the southwest monsoon. Now, for those of you who do not know what southwest monsoon is, you just need to keep in mind that these are the monsoon bearing winds uh, that result into precipitation all across our subcontinent. So the southwest monsoon has reached the parts of as Maharashtra, and it was largely covered the southern part. So expect rains anytime soon in your hometown if you're living in the west and the central part of Bharat. Yep. Okay. So even in the Bay of Bengal, so moderate rainfall. However, however, there are predictions of dust storm and thunderstorms for the next 2 days in the national capital territory of Delhi. Yep, and heat wave conditions are very likely to continue in Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand, Punjab, Haryana, Bihar, and Odisha. So yeah, southwest monsoon is eventually going to show up on your doorsteps, but before that, uh, you need to keep up with the heat wave conditions for a few days longer. Okay. Now, if you'll see many of these many of these folk tales in these states, they have these traditions of singing songs to bring across rains, and If you live in a rural area, I would really encourage all of you all to visit such places where they sing such songs to invite rains, because this is something that has been a part of our culture since like centuries and centuries. So you will find some folk tales, some folklore, some folk songs, and some regions even folk dances to invite rain. Okay, so it's these are all recent technologies where we know that rains are going to approach, and oh, upcoming week will have rains. But when centuries ago, when we did not have such inventions at our disposal, how exactly were they able to decide when to sing these songs? Because if you have some folk culture related to rains, you needed to know, when do I practice these traditions of folk culture, and what exact time should I do it. And, yeah, I mean, Penny, for your thoughts, explore more on these lines, and you might be surprised. Next up is Aam Aadmi Party. I mean, uh, yeah, Aam Aadmi Party has said it will contest Delhi Assembly elections alone. I would really be surprised if Aam Aadmi Party is again chosen as a majority party in the Delhi Legislative Assembly. Then I would really lose faith in the people of Delhi, because if you are willing to believe that the sitting chief minister who is in jail, deserves a a different one more chance, one more go at the political helm of the political affairs, then yeah, I need not say much, otherwise I will offend a lot of people. Now, it is also said in the statement that Aam Aadmi Party fought the Lok Sabha elections together with Congress, but the Delhi Assembly elections there will be no alliance. I guess, I mean, they are pretty sure that they can uh, they can have a lot of seats, a majority number of seats, if they contest alone. Okay. Haryana Police. Okay, Haryana Police is in the news. They secure first position in blocking mobile numbers involved in cybercrime. Yes, so this is a very commendable job that they have done. Okay, so the exact number is, according to the National Cybercrime Reporting Portal, a total number of 5,46,000 mobile numbers involved in cybercrime were blocked across the country from 1st of January to 31st of April this year, out of which 1,11,349 mobile numbers were blocked by Haryana Police alone. I guess, yeah, since the digitalization of our lives is increasing at a rapid pace, there are multiple things that you can do digitally, from starting from finance, from booking your flight tickets, any service that you would like to enjoy, you could do it online. So that also opens up gates to financial theft, financial crime, digital crime, and yes. So when such crimes are on the rise, we definitely need some infrastructure in place to cope up with these crimes. And Haryana Police is doing its bit, I would say. I mean, yeah, Russia, China wrangle with US over United Nations resolution on Gaza ceasefire plan. So here is the deal. United States has come up with a ceasefire plan that is said to be overseen by Joe Biden, the president of the United States, and it is said that it has come at the behest of Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel. So, nevertheless, United Nations has put that on the table in front of the permanent five. So that's about it. The next up is, let me, okay, what's wrong with the lights? All right, we'll continue. Yes, so they're put in front of the United Nations permanent members, and guess what? There are two countries that have uh, put forward their apprehensions regarding the plan that is put on the table by United States. And that countries are Russia and China. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to interpret these things. It was if something that the West wants to do, it will always be Russia and China on the opposite side of the United Nations. And if something it is the Russia and China would want to do, it will always be US and its allies on the other side. So there are very few points of commonality between all the five countries of the permanent council, Security Council, permanent members of the Security Council of the United Nations. United Nations, I would say it's a very obsolete body. It manages to accomplish nothing apart from just propagating one-sided information all across the world. There are multiple instances and evidences out in the open about how United Nations offices in disputed areas have been used as a base to attack other people. So yeah, I don't really see the purpose of United Nations unless there are some overhauling changes that they undertake. So yeah, so I would want to focus on the exact. Okay, Russia proposed amendments to the U.S. text that included calling upon both Hamas and Israel to accept the proposal and demanding an immediate, unconditional, permanent ceasefire respected by all the parties. I would really, I would really want to see Hamas standing up to its commitments. Okay. Now, Moscow also wants the draft to stress that the phase one ceasefire will remain in place as long as negotiations continue on phase two. So this is something that sounds very trivial, but it's very important because when you are functioning on an international level, treaties on an international level, you need it to be airtight because the belligerents will find some loopholes in it, and Russia has come up with an advice that I would say yes, it would really serve in the best interest of all the parties if you include this as one of the conditions. And it makes sense that while the phase one ceasefire is in place, okay, I mean, while the negotiations for the second phase of ceasefire are going on, the first phase continues. I would say this is common sense, but yes, when you are dealing with such parties, you need to have your agreements airtight. Next is Cape Verde. For those of you who have never heard of this, Cape Verde is an island country in the towards the west of the Northern African continent. And the president of Cape Verde has asked or urged the governments of the world to discuss colonial reparations. Now, for those of you who don't know, colonial reparations are the amount of money that former colonial powers should pay to the present day countries because of the wrongs that they have done. And I guess, yeah, there is some sort of rationality in their argument about colonial reparations. But I would say it is more suitable for countries that have not managed to come out of this colonial slumber. Because if you look at some of the previous colonies, such as us, Bharat has been a colony, and we have managed pretty well. If I may take the liberty of saying that, we are very close to the uh, UK economy, I would say. So even after plundering us for like how much 3 centuries, 3.5 centuries, we still stand at par in terms of the worth or the total worth of the economy. So take that, you Brits. Okay. So yeah, he's talking about how we should talk about colonial reparations. I mean, yeah, there are definitely countries that would deserve some amount of startup reparations, I would say, because they need to start a future where they can leave that colonial hangover behind. Because even if we see in our country, we are still reeling with the effects of colonization. And the cruel irony is that I'm talking in English, the language of our colonizers, and that's how it is. There are things that you cannot change, but you can really modify it and evolve it into modify it and evolve and make it suitable to your needs. Okay. So yep. I mean, now there are upcoming elections in UK as well, United Kingdom. There are two political sides in the United Kingdom's political canvas. One of them is the Labour, another one is the Conservative. Uh, the Conservatives, led by Rishi Sunak, they are in power right now, and their popularity has dwindled in the past 1 or 2 years, I would say. And there are multiple sticking points in the upcoming electoral exercise that they will undertake, but the one major issue over there is immigration. Okay. I'm sure you guys have already seen what is happening all across France, Europe, Germany in the name of Palestinian peaceful protests, but they are definitely reeling under adverse effects of uncontrolled and unchecked migration, and they have taken a significant hit to their own native values. So the upcoming election will be fought. So there has been some announcement from the opposition Labour Party. Okay, they have quoted as saying that their manifesto will include uh, recognizing Palestinian state. So if the Labour Party comes to power, they have promised to recognize a Palestinian state. Let's see how that plays with the voters of the UK. Okay. I would say there is some considerable middle ground between the Conservatives and the Labours. Both of them are largely in the favor of a two-state solution. But the details of the two states are still not figured out. I mean, it will take a considerable amount of time, and that is what this Labour candidate is saying. The name of the leader is Keir Starmer. He said that he wanted to recognize a Palestinian state if he won power, but such a move would need to come at the right time in a peace process. Although he has made a very bold claim, he has just stopped short of being specific about the timeline of that move. So we don't know whether this is some political gimmick to attract the voters or it's really a commitment that they are making. All right, that's about it. And I'll see you in the next video.